So it looks like I'm not wearing a shirt, but I am. It's actually very cute, and I thought it'd be cute for this video, but you can't see it. It's like a little crop top and there's sleeves. I just want to prove that I am wearing a shirt. Anyway, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. I'm Monica, and today I'm doing a de-influence video where I'm going to tell you all the products that I don't think are worth your money, especially ones that perhaps get a lot of good buzz. This is not like a very unique video idea. I've seen other people do this. Basically, it's a what not to buy with a cuter name, in my opinion. I think Taylor Wynn said something similar along those lines, but I thought it would be fun. I know these videos are kind of controversial, but for me, I thought it would be fun to do because I enjoy watching them. So I've got my list here, and I'm gonna go down it and tell you the products I have on here and explain why they might not be worth your money. So the first one I have on here is the Super Goop Glow Screen. This is an American chemical sunscreen, so it's got like avobenzone, oxysalate, like that kind of stuff in it. And if you have sensitive skin, acne prone skin, this is not it for you. I tried it, broke me out terribly. Also, while we're on this subject, the e.l.f. Whoa Glow, the dupe for it, also is like very similar to that. I would not suggest that one either because I imagine it would break you out. If chemical sunscreens break you out, I imagine both of those would break you out. Also, the Super Goop one is extremely glowy, almost to the point of glitter in my opinion, and I don't feel like I can wear it alone. Like I feel like I have to wear makeup with it. So yeah, the Whoa Glow I've heard is a little less glowy, but I still wouldn't suggest it if you have acne prone or sensitive skin. So the next thing I have on here is the Sol de Janeiro or Janeiro Boom Boom Cream. I know everybody loves this. For me, the scent is not typically a scent that I would gravitate towards for like my body scent. It is a good candle scent. I think that would make a beautiful candle. And also this tub of very expensive lotion promises to do these things that I don't think it does. It promises to like reduce cellulite and all that kind of stuff, and I don't think it does at all. I just think that it's a very moisturizing lotion. It's also a little sticky, and I don't love that consistency, but I want to more so say that it's a very strong smell, and you either love it or you hate it. I don't like it. I've had one before, tried to get myself to like it, and just didn't. I'm trying to make sure I show my arms so you guys can see that I am in fact not naked. I just think it's really overrated and really overpriced, and I don't think you necessarily need to spend your money on it because the drugstore has great lotions out there that have a very similar consistency. And from what I've heard, there are two different dupes for the Boom Boom Cream, one from Trader Joe's, which I think is a limited edition like seasonal one, and then the one that you can get from Ulta. So if you want to test those out, I have smelled the one from Ulta. It's a very similar smell and a lot cheaper. So another thing I want to de-influence you on is the Beauty Blender. The traditional Beauty Blender, or any sort of sponge from that line. I've tried the traditional one before, like the original pink one. I thought it was too porous. I think that it kind of soaks up more makeup than a traditional sponge does in general, and sponges generally soak up a lot of makeup. I don't think it's that great. It's $20. There are so many different versions of beauty blenders at the drugstore that don't soak up as much makeup and I think are better. And there's also the Paw Paw ones from I think AOA that you can get on Amazon and stuff like that, and they're just so much better in my opinion. So another thing I want to de-influence you on is Pat McGrath eyeshadows, specifically the $128 palettes. I just talked about one of these in my speed reviews video. It's the Mothership Subliminal 1 palette, and it's got the most beautiful, like, I don't know, ethereal shade in there, and I love that. I would buy that in a single. Do I necessarily think you need the rest of the palette? Not really. I did end up getting it on sale, so I didn't pay $128, but I don't think it's worth $128. I think that the shadows blend nicely and are pigmented, but I also think that you could get the same sort of thing from even just a high-end version like an Anastasia palette, and even the drugstore has really good palettes as well. While we're on $128 palettes, I also want to say that I don't necessarily think you need the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes. I don't actually think that they work very well. I know so many people love them. They're so pigmented, they're so blendable. That's what I hear people say all the time. I disagree. I think the mattes go on so patchy. The color that goes on your eyes is different than the color that is in the pans, and the shimmers are just they're kind of stiff in my opinion. Like they are pretty pigmented, but they're kind of stiff and harder to work with. The cheaper versions of the Natasha Denona like full palettes are like $60, and the like traditional ones that she first released years ago, they're like $128 as well. I don't think they're necessarily worth it. And to be honest, even if these were like at the drugstore or just traditional high-end prices, I probably wouldn't like them either. So let's talk about the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift Mascara. I've talked about this a few times on my channel. Obviously, most, if not everybody, knows about the whole mascara gate, lash gate incident on TikTok revolving around this mascara. And I tried it. Yeah, I got roped in. I had to try it because I was like, this has caused so much controversy and drama. I need to find out if it's even good. Tried it. Think the formula is good. The wand, which is supposed to make it like be so unique and special, kills my eyes. I have never poked myself in the eyes so much with mascara wands as I have with this particular one. And that's what's supposed to make it special. And I think that's actually what gets in the way of it being a great mascara. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that this is a great mascara in their opinion. I personally don't agree. I don't think it is. And honestly, at like Ulta, it's like $17. So I would pass, get the Rare Beauty mascara instead, because it's basically what the L'Oreal one is saying it's going to do for you without the painful wand, and it's only $20, which is pretty cheap for a higher end brand. So then I want to talk about pretty much any of Anastasia's brow products. The only time I would recommend perhaps getting them is when the 21 days of beauty sale happens at Ulta. Most of the time, a product or two, or even like almost the entire line from Anastasia's brow line is on sale for half off. But generally, like throughout the rest of the year, I don't really think that you need to pay that much money for a brow pencil or a brow pomade or whatever you're looking for, because the drugstore is knocking it out of the park, and they have for quite a few years now. And I think these drugstore versions perform just as well, if not better, than the Anastasia ones. And obviously you're saving money as well. So not to be controversial, but I pretty much just want to shout out all of Charlotte Tilbury's line. Now there are two specific products I love, the Beautiful Skin Foundation and the Under Eye Corrector from Charlotte Tilbury, that I do think are worth it. I think they're beautiful, but pretty much everything else from the line, the contour wand, the magic cream, any eyeshadow quads, the Hollywood Flawless Filter, anything in the line I think is pretty overrated. Obviously, Charlotte Tilbury has beautiful packaging. They can rope you in with that, but they're expensive. Like, the line is expensive, and you can find, most of the time, better stuff from higher end brands, not just like in that range that Charlotte Tilbury's in, but a little bit in the lower end of the higher end brands, if that makes any sense. Or you can find better makeup at the drugstore. Let's go into some specifics. The contour wand, it's patchy. I don't really like the color. I don't think that it sticks very well on the face, and I think it picks up your foundation. I don't know why it's so expensive either, and you don't get enough product in my opinion. The Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, I tried a sample of this a few years ago. It broke me out like crazy. I also think it's extremely expensive, and you can find great products from like CeraVe or other drugstore brands that do the same thing / better things for your skin than this magic cream that she has. The eyeshadow quads. I like Pillow Talk. I did also mention a dupe for that in my most recent dupes video. I like the Pillow Talk quad. That's pretty much the only one I like. The other ones that I've tried from the line are pretty patchy and hard to work with, and they're like $56, so you don't need to spend money on that. And unless you absolutely want to. I don't want to say that you shouldn't buy it if you want to. I'm just saying I don't necessarily think it's worth the hype or the money. And then the Flawless Filter. There are so many different dupes for this now, especially the e.l.f. version of the Flawless Filter. It's very similar. In my opinion, it's better, provides a little bit more coverage. I do think in this case, though, the Charlotte Tilbury one does better with the undertones because the e.l.f. ones are quite warm and orangey, but I'm hoping they'll expand the shade range a little bit. And the Charlotte Tilbury ones still are a little yellow, though, so I feel like a more neutral would probably fit most of the demographic. I don't know. I can only speak for the people I know in my own life, but I do think that the Flawless Filter does have a slightly better undertone than the e.l.f. one, but the e.l.f. formula is better and it's much cheaper. So let's talk about Morphe. I'm pretty sure that they just filed for bankruptcy anyway, but also I've tried their eyeshadows. I've tried their foundations, concealer. Everything I've tried from them, I do not like. I didn't even like the Jaclyn Hill one, like the Jaclyn Hill original palette from, what was that, like 2015, 2016. I thought it was really overrated. I think the entire line is overrated, and not to be mean, but I think it's sort of washed up, and maybe they'll come out with better products to kind of recover from this slump. They've obviously closed all their stores and everything, but also they've been connected to some pretty shady people and some pretty shady business, and so I don't really want to support that anyway. And the fact that their makeup just isn't that great pretty much seals the deal for me on never wanting to use Morphe. The only thing I will say for Morphe that I think is really good is their setting spray, their continuous setting spray. I think that is like a primo product, but pretty much everything else I would pass on. So the Truly brand. The Truly brand is the one that like has like the aside for your boobies stuff. They have all these like almost inappropriate sort of like asset treatments, and like they have like lotions and oils and stuff. They are crap. Sorry, they're expensive. They don't work well. I do not like them. And frankly, it's kind of just gimmicky. It's gimmicky and expensive. So I would just pass on pretty much anything you see in the Truly brand. So speaking sort of Morphe cosmetics, I want to shout out Jaclyn Cosmetics real quick in terms of that I think most of the line is overrated. I did like their Luxe Legacy eyeshadow palette that she did with like her mom. I think that was last year, right? Yeah. But everything else I've tried, I've been pretty underwhelmed. I feel like Jaclyn Hill, like her makeup style in general, I think it works for her. It has nothing to do with that, but I think she's kind of out of style. Her makeup launches are kind of outdated in my opinion, and I think she's having a hard time keeping up with new trends. And maybe that's because she works on the formula for a long time. I'm not really sure. I just don't think that the brand is really that great, minus the eyeshadow palette that I really do like. But other than that, anything else I've tried, I don't like, and I'm gonna be doing a declutter soon, and I'm probably gonna declutter most everything from Jaclyn Cosmetics. So I also want to talk about the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, specifically the one in like, you know, it's like a putty version. That one has so many essential oils in it, at least from the smell and what I've seen like in the ingredient list. And that causes me to break out. So if you have acne prone skin, I would steer clear of that. Go as far away from that as possible because it could potentially break you out. I'm super sensitive to essential oils on my skin, and all it did was clog my pores more / break me out and make me have like under the skin bumps, and it's quite expensive as well. So I love Selena Gomez, and I love the Rare Beauty mascara. I like a lot of things from Rare Beauty, but one thing I think fell short, really short, was the under eye brightener. That one also blew up on TikTok and everybody was like, this is amazing. Frankly, I didn't notice a difference at all. In fact, I think it made my under eyes look worse than they typically do, and I wasn't loving the way it looked on my under eye. So I would just pass on that and get the Charlotte Tilbury under eye corrector, or, you know, pretty much any other one. Any other one will probably have more coverage than that one did. I just felt like it almost made my under eyes look crepey and did not help at all with the darkness. So speaking of color correctors, the e.l.f. color corrector in Peach, the $4 one, it's way too dark for fair-skinned people, and so when I put it on, it was like straight up orange, and then I tried to put concealer over it, and it did not help at all. So I would pass on that as well, even though it is quite inexpensive, one of the cheaper things from e.l.f. Cosmetics now. But it just does not work. They need to come out with a variety of different peachy shades, and then maybe it would, but even so, the formula kind of dries down really fast and it's hard to work with in general. So I don't know, I think they need to tweak it a little bit more and make it a little better, because if they could and still sell it for $4, like, I'd be on that. If they had a really good one for $4, I'd be right on that. So let's talk about the KVD Good Apple foundations, both the serum and like the balm. I've tried both of them. I did not like either of them. The most recent one, the serum one, I tried in my Foundation 5 series that went up recently, and you can go check that out. I just thought that first of all, it clogged my pores. It was very full coverage, but not in a flattering way, because I can go for some coverage, like especially if I'm feeling insecure about my skin, I can go for some coverage, but it was not flattering. I feel like it made my skin look more mature than it is. It aged me. I just did not like it, and the balm version of it also is terrible, creases terribly, it does not last well, and gets super dewy throughout the day. So I don't like it at all. In fact, the serum one also gets dewy throughout the day. It goes on really matte and gets dewy, so I don't know who these foundations would be good for, because oily skin people couldn't do it because it would get so oily, and dry skin people couldn't do it because when you initially put it on, it's so matte. So I just don't think, I think that her foundations are just not so great. So then I want to talk about the Makeup by Mario foundation, the one that he recently released. Everybody is talking about how much they love this. I'm just gonna be honest, Kind of the same thing with the KVD one, except it's not as bad in how it wears. It's like, it clings to all the negative parts about my face that I don't even realize are there until I put a bad foundation on. It also clogged my pores and just made me have a lot of blackheads. I did not enjoy the way it felt on my skin. I did not enjoy the way it wore. I felt like it creased pretty easily and just didn't look very good. It was better than the KVD one, I will give it that, but it wasn't great and it's quite expensive. So then I want to talk about the Say Glowy Super Skin Foundation. This one recently came out. I did a short on it and I don't think it's terrible. I think that my favorite, the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear, is way better, and just in general, a lot of drugstore and high-end foundations are better than this. It does not provide a ton of coverage, and it provides a nice glow, but it doesn't wear very long. And for $40, I want it to wear a decent amount of time during the day. So I do like their Glowy Skin Super Gel though, to shout out a good product. Okay, so last thing, I want to talk about the Dyson Airwrap. Let me make a little disclaimer. I have never tried the Dyson Airwrap, but let me explain why I wanted to de-influence you, specifically based on the fact that I have not tried it and the reason why I have never bought it. So I've been tempted, but the reality of it is the attachments that come with it are not great. The blow dry attachment does not have like a concentrator. That's what I use because my hair is naturally pretty wavy, and so I need to be able to get up and like really focus on trying to straighten those parts out. The brush attachments don't look very interesting. The round brush attachment looks like it might be a little flimsy, and I have like a lot of hair, and it's like, it's not super coarse, but it's definitely got some texture to it that needs to be like, you know, manipulated in order to do what I want it to. And I just think it's really expensive. I actually bought the Shark Flexstyle and used it today for the first time, and I can already tell you that just based on the attachments alone, I 100% will use this more than I would ever use Dyson, because the blow dry attachment, the way it works is you can twist it into like a blow dry form, like the way it looks, and then add the concentrator, and that's amazing. You can also buy a diffuser attachment that'll work for that as well. The brushes, one is like a round brush, but it's a big round brush. It's a lot sturdier looking than the like one from Dyson is, and I just think it's easier to use. The actual like regular brush one works so well at getting out most of my kinks in my hair, and obviously the Airwrap parts, I really love it. I think that it looks so nice. I'm loving the way that my hair is looking, and I love that it cut down my drying time and styling time in like half, but just based on attachments compared to the Dyson, it's got more to offer, in my opinion. The Dyson Airwrap, to me, it's over expensive, way overly expensive. I think it's sort of overhyped, and I don't think the attachments are very user-friendly for everybody. I think the attachments are very tailored to those with straight and fine hair, and pretty much other than that, I just don't see how it would work very well with anybody with texture. And I, in comparison to somebody who has like coily hair or even curlier hair, I should have better of a time using those attachments, but I imagine like that blow dry attachment, especially in the round brush, I just don't think it would work because I've got a lot of hair to work with. Like I said, I think it would only work for people who have like straight fine hair or fine hair with maybe minimal texture. That's just my 2 cents on that. That is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was fun. I like to watch these videos. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit that notification bell down below, and also subscribe to my channel if you're not already. If you haven't checked out the rest of my channel, please go do so. I do lifestyle and beauty, and we do vlogs, and we do a bunch of the different things, and I would love to have you join if you enjoy that. For now, that is it. I hope you guys have the best rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.